Episode 1 of this KTM SMCR 690 build. I think this thing looks awesome, but I think we can make it a little bit better. And first thing we're going to do is get rid of this hideous license plate holder. I think the stock one makes the silhouette look pretty janky, and of course the idea is to get rid of that. These bikes aren't meant to be kept standard in my eyes. And as you can tell, I've already jumped the gun and got rid of the standard wing mirrors because I think they look a bit goofy. I will also be getting rid of these at some point because I don't like the look of them, and they do restrict airflow on my hands, which makes it very hot when riding. Plus I just want to clean the look up, that's my preference, so they will be going at some point. I've ordered quite a few things for this bike. I do have a new light come in, a new LED one, which will look very nice and clean up the look, make it look a little bit more modern, which is ironic considering this is a 2023/2024 model, and saying that nowadays is ridiculous. Anyway, that's KTM, we're not going to go on about that. I'm going to change the colour of this bike. I do have a wrap over there, so if you can guess what colour it is, let me know in the comments below and I'll be surprised if you can guess it. And lastly, I've got some bits and pieces coming as well. I do have a new seat coming. I've got the KTM Ergo seat, so that will be black, which will match the look I'm going for. It'll be a lot thicker and comfortable, because if anybody's ridden one of these, it's like sitting on a plank of wood. It's not the most comfortable. And I'm going to get a skid plate. I think that's about it, plus a couple of minor little details here and there. And I'm open to some decal suggestions if you've got any ideas of what kind of look I should go for, because I'm not 100% there yet. And on Friday, I'll be taking this bike down to my local decal guy, and we'll be going over some designs just in case I don't like the look of the wrap I've gone with. Right, let's not waste any more time. Let's get onto it and get this thing sorted right now. So here's what comes with the kit, and I assume what I'm going to need. So this is the actual tail tidy. As you can see, it's very small if you look at it in the size of my hand. So that's going to be really awesome and clean up the look. You can see this is what comes with it. There's a grommet here which should go in there nicely. I believe there is another one missing which should go somewhere in here. So when we get to that point, I might have to come up with a solution later on, just in case this kit is missing a grommet. And I've also got this Sharpie just in case I have to mark the lights left and right, because I've learned from past experience, it's not fun when you get electronics wrong, and I don't feel like sitting here till midnight tonight trying to fix it. So over to the bike, you can see there are quite a lot of torque screws, so we're going to be getting rid of most of these under here. There's quite a few, one holding this down, so that isn't something you just pull off. So if you're going to do this yourself, don't just start yanking at this, it is bolted down through the bottom here. So I think we best start by removing these ones here to get rid of this, because obviously there must be a wire going from here somewhere up there. Then we'll figure out this bit as we get on. And I'm going to keep these bolts in here so I know exactly where they go when I put it back. Okay, but that should be stopping that from coming down. Just like that. Very nice. And then you just literally pop all of these little clips off. But how mad does this look? It looks like it's been in a crash. So there you have it, it just pops off. And as a quick bonus with this tail tidy, you actually utilize this license plate light, because the stock one actually comes off of that big unit we just took off. So this doesn't actually get used until you put on an aftermarket one. So there you go. So I've just lifted this down so it's easier to see. So there you go, I've put a little L and a little R. That way I know which way to put it on when I go back, because the last thing I want to do is hit left and go right, and hit right and go left, and hit left and go right. And nice. So now that this is off, I've realized I could have just unplugged these all along and took the whole unit over here. So if you guys do that, just unplug all this first and then lift this away before you start doing what I did, because I'm an idiot, as we've just found out. And then I'm obviously just going to pull these guys out with their washers in order, and remember my little R and my little L. And if anybody is watching from the States, can someone explain why you guys get the old big floppy things and we get these newer LED lights? I've never understood why you guys get different bikes to the rest of us, or vice versa. Doesn't make sense. Alright, so after a bit of guessing and a bit of research, it looks like this goes on top of this. It appears that we need to go through the back of this thing and make sure that you use a washer. So straight through the back. This now goes on top of here. And then the mounting plate to hold it still. goes above. And then that's where these crush washers come in. Crush washers? Where these crush bolts, I guess I'll call them, or lock nuts, whatever you want to call them. So there you go, you get the gist. That'll obviously mount onto the bike and hold our lights on. Sweet, so we'll just reuse these grommets real quick on these three back here. And they fit just like that. And just quickly before we jump onto the wiring, if you do want to follow this Supermoto build from start to finish, make sure you subscribe. Comment below what you want to see me do with the bike, because I haven't 100% settled on everything I'm going to do. So who knows, you might have an input how this thing comes out at the end of it. That being said, thank you guys for watching. Let's just jump straight back into the wiring. So after a little bit of research, it turns out you need to cut this back and splice into these wires using this kind of Scotch clip, and that will join these together and allow the LED light for the license plate to come on. And whilst I was there, I realised I should probably grab some electrical tape just in case. So I've obviously cut into that nice and shallow and very slowly, because I don't want to just wreck wires that we don't need to. So it's the white and green wires that we're going to need. They will sit in here just like so. So these two should fit nicely in our own lane, and then you clip this down, push down really hard with some pliers or something. That will crush this down, effectively joining them together, which allows this little bad boy to come on, and that way you have your license plate back. And don't forget, when it comes to electrical tape, there's no such thing as too much. As long as it's insulated, it should be good. Right, I'm going to hook this up to the bike and just make sure everything works as it should before I go any further. Perfect. As it should do. As I said, there is that light. It's obviously upside down, but that's how it will look. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's put it back together, stick it on the bike, and see how this thing looks. Tell you what, that was an absolute pain in the arse. These don't actually line up too well. You have to kind of bend all of this shroud in place slightly, and I made a mistake by putting this on before pulling it through this hole, because it wouldn't fit, so I had to kind of break it off a little bit, fit it through, redo it. The only problem is that grommet that I was talking about earlier doesn't actually fit, so this kit is actually missing a grommet, but that's what you get for going cheap. So I will be probably doing a silicone ring on this or something at some point. Just one last update before we get finished. I had to do a bit of bending around here because it doesn't all fit completely perfect, but that's what you get for a cheap Amazon tail tidy. However, for the most part, it's pretty good. I just need to tidy up this mess and put it back together. I have tested it, it works fine. So I'll see you guys in a second when it's all back to the way it should be. My God, that was tedious. You can see Mrs. Tube's now home. So she is the all famous camera woman, giving you these beautiful visuals. But basically, yeah, the cables were an absolute pain in the arse to fit underneath this, because they there's way too many to fit underneath this little tail tidy. So the original one has way more space to hide the cables. Lo and behold, we are done. Well, there we have it. That is the finished tail tidy. It's absolutely tiny. I love it. Of course, I'm going to put my license plate on there. And that stressed me out way more than it needed to. Way more than getting that bike wrapped did. And if you want to see that video, I'll put it somewhere up here. Wrapping this one should be a lot easier, but that's still going to... I might even just film the whole thing start to finish in terms of me getting annoyed at everything, and then you can see me not editing things to look nice. Then you'll see me getting frustrated with stuff. Anyway, I think it looks wicked. I'll just pop the lights on and you can see what it looks like. So there you go, as I said, that middle light for the license plate. Everything works as it should. Looks awesome. And I can't wait for the light to come so we can swap out this old halogen looking thing from 1995. So that being said, if you guys like this, like I said, make sure you subscribe, because there's going to be fair more work going on with this Supermoto. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode, and we'll probably be wrapping this thing and maybe getting rid of the handguards. We'll figure it out, but definitely it's going to get wrapped probably the next few days. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much. Peace.